Hi everyone, this is Krishna Mulagapati, working as Assistant Professor in Triple E Department, St. Peter's Engineering College. In this video, I am going to explain turn-on methods of SCR. Turn-on methods of SCR. The course is Power Electronics. Course is Power Electronics. In this video, I am going to explain turn-on methods of SCR. The other name for this topic is triggering methods of SCR, firing methods of SCR. We can call in different ways. Turn on methods of SCR. Okay. See, there are 5 turn on methods that are available. First one is, you see, by rising temperature. By rising temperature. By rising temperature, and we can call this method is thermal triggering. Thermal triggering. So we got one expression when we discussed in the transistor analogy of SCR. We got one expression for anode current in terms of transistor parameters, that is II is equal to ICO1 ICO2 plus alpha 2 Ig upon 1 minus of alpha 1 plus alpha 2. So this was we got in analogy, transistor analogy of SCR. Look at this. When we are going to get the value for this alpha plus alpha to 1, we can say the current value is going to be increasing. Okay, and two ways that we can analyze this one. So by increasing either current or temperature of the device, current or temperature of the device, automatically this alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is trying to meet unity value. If it is trying to meet unity value, the entire denominator factor trying to reduce. At the same time, these two are related inversely proportional. We can say that if alpha 1 plus alpha 2 reaches to unity value, automatically the current flowing through the device from anode to cathode being increased. So that could be done by applying some temperatures. Means when we heat it up, when we apply some heat, thereby the junction J2 is going to be breakdown. So basically this is my SCR, this is my SCR, and this is cathode, anode. I'm going to heat it up this SCR with some external heating source. Due to that, what happened? As we know, there exist J1, J2, J3 junctions. Initially, J1, J3 junctions are forward biased. This is forward biased. This is forward biased, and J2 junction is in reverse biased. Due to after heating that device, what happened is recombination at J2 junction takes place. Means that J2 junction is going to be diminished. So once this J2 junction breaks down, that device allows the current to flow from anode to cathodes. In that way, we are going to make the SCR turn on from its forward blocking state. So this is one method. Next we will see second method. Second method is by applying light, and the name for this triggering method is light triggering. Light triggering. The other name for this one is optical triggering. This is optical triggering, radiation triggering. The other names are like this. Optical triggering that I am calling. Okay, and in this case, it is not a normal SCR. You see, in this case, when we are going for using this type of turn-on method for SCR, the SCR type is LA SCR. SCR type is LASR. We can apply only light to this LASR only. LASR means light activated silicon controlled rectifier. Light activated silicon controlled rectifier. So this is the name for LASR. Lasker somebody calling this. Okay, in this case what happened is, so there is a, this is my SCR symbol. Okay, this is my gate, cathode, anode. Here we are applying some light at junction J2. Means there is one window in this LASR structure. At that window, we are going to applying the light. It is like when you take the structure of SCR. See, this is P, this is N, this is P, this is N. So this side anode, this side cathode, and here it is gate. And what happened here is at junction J2. At junction J2, there is one window. This is one window. So this structure is like that. For LASCR structure is like that. To apply light here, then automatically recombination takes place at the junction J2. This is J2 junction, J1 and J2 junction. Once recombination takes place here, automatically due to that the junction J2 is going to be breaks down and allows the current to flow. In this way, by applying light triggering to the LASCR, we can able to turn on that LASCR using this method. Next method we'll see. We'll see the next method. Third method is by applying high voltage. And we are calling this method as forward voltage triggering. Right? So in this case, as we this is a general method that we are using to make the SCR turn on, and we are applying the, so when we see the structure of SCR, P, N, P, N, this is my cathode, anode, this is anode. Here I am connecting anode to the positive terminal of the battery and cathode to the negative terminal of the battery. This is my VAK voltage. So I am applying VAK voltage. This is what I am calling is forward voltage triggering. Now the current is entering like this, that I am calling current IA. So this can explain with the help of characteristics. So these are my characteristics. I am taking only forward characteristics, means first quadrant characteristics. We already seen this characteristics, static characteristics of SCR topic. And so initially I am applying low values across anode and cathode, doesn't comes to on state. Still it is taking more current to turn on, more voltage to turn on. Then once it reaches to some value called VAK, I am calling this VAK, I am calling this, otherwise we call this one VFBO. VFBO, we can call this one forward breakover voltage. Forward breakover voltage. Then immediately our device comes to on state and allows the current to flow. So this voltage is nothing but the high voltage that we are applying across anode and cathode terminal. So once the breakover voltage reaches, then only the SR comes to conduction state from its forward blocking state. This is forward blocking state. Forward blocking state. And see this is conduction state. This is conduction state, right? Then we don't require to take the third quadrant characteristics. Next we'll see by gate triggering. By gate triggering. By gate triggering means what? There we have one more terminal, that is gate here, right? And we are applying voltage to that gate and cathode terminals. So I am calling this as VG. When you apply voltage, forward voltage, then automatically the current IG flowing through the device, which helps to break down the J2 junction. So by applying more voltages across gate terminal, we are getting on state of the SCR earlier. Means suppose I am applying some gate voltage, then before reaching to forward breakover voltage only, then we are getting turn on here itself only. I am calling this one is IG1. Let us take IG1 please. Furtherly I am increasing voltage to the gate. There again we are getting earlier conduction. I am calling this as IG2. Like that, when you increase the voltage to the gate terminal, then we are getting the conduction state earlier as compared to this forward breakover voltages. Means next, this is the forward breakover voltage when you apply the voltage across the gate in parallel. If furtherly you applied more amount of voltage to the gate terminal, then here itself only we are getting the on state. So I am calling this as IG3. Since IG3 greater than IG2 greater than IG1, this is the condition. Okay. So by gate triggering, it's very easy to make the SCR into on state, and it is helping to reduce the forward breakover voltages also. Means instead of applying more voltages across anode and cathode terminals, with the help of gate voltages we can apply reduced values across the anode and cathode, and by applying this, what happened is the junction J2 is going to be breaks down. This is junction J2, J1 and J3. Junction J2 and J1, J3. Right? Next we'll see. So last one is by applying dV by dt. dV by dt triggering. So this is another method, and we can call this one is applying AC voltage. AC voltage across anode and cathode, but it is not used in practical, but we can prefer, but it's not a feasible method. But when we apply the AC voltage across this anode and cathode, then what happened? AC signal is applying like this. AC signal is applying like this. During positive half cycle, only anode current will flow. During positive half cycle, only anode current will flow. During negative half cycle, it doesn't allow the conduction. During negative half cycle, doesn't allow the conduction. That is the what we call here dV by dt means rate of change of voltage with respect to time. That is what we call alternating polarity AC signal that we are applying across anode and cathode. But it's going to be coming into conduction state only during positive half cycle applying across anode and cathode. These are the 5 methods that we can use. The best method is the combination of both 3 and 4 by applying high voltage means forward voltage, and by the help of get triggered together, then it is very easy to make the SR into turn on and conducting state. We will make it on, and current will allow to flow in the circuit. We'll see one problem here regarding to latching current. See this, the latching current of a thyristor circuit as shown in figure is 25 milliampere. The duration of the firing pulse is given as 25 microseconds, and we have to state whether the thyristor gets fired or not. Okay. Then first of all we should know that one condition, Tc must be greater than Td. What does it mean? Device turn off time must be less than circuit turn off time. In other words, circuit turn off time must be greater than the device turn off time. This is the condition that we have to remember. Then only we can say whether the thyristor gets fired or not. Okay, for that, we'll see once. First, write down that what is the data given to us. The data given to us is latching current. Current value being given, that is 25 milliampere, and T is also given 25 microseconds. These two only we have, and when we see the figure, when we see the circuit here along with thyristor, and there is a resistance and inductance combination. 15 ohm resistance is given, and 0.2 Henry inductance is given, and the input supply, that is 120 volt. Okay. For that, we have to take the one equation, that is transient analysis. When we see the transient analysis, we have one equation. I of t is equal to V by R 1 minus e power minus t by tau. With the help of this equation, we will be able to find the value, I of t value. Okay. So this I of t value will decide whether the thyristor gets fired or not, gets conducts or not. Okay. So we know that This is 120 by 15 and 1 minus e power minus t is given 25 microseconds by. So we have to find out the tau value. Tau means what? Time constant. Tau means time constant. It is a RL circuit. So time constant for RL circuit is L by R. Then find the value 0.2 upon 15. This will become 0.013 seconds. If I am not wrong, 0.013 seconds. So after getting this, you can convert this value into microseconds also, and with that help you can get, and you can otherwise you can keep your 10 power minus 6 and 0.013 like this. With this value, we can get the, when we calculate this all together, we got the value 15.3 milliampere. 15.3 milliampere. See this? This is the value that the anode current which is flowing through the SCR. But what? The latching current. What does it mean? Latching current means it is the minimum amount of current required by the SCR to maintain the SCR in its on condition even though gate terminal is removed. That is the condition. And what happened? The latching current is the minimum current, which means that is only the current which decides the on state of SCR. That's why the current what the current flowing through the SCR, this is 15.3 milliampere. That means it is less than, the current flowing through the SCR is less than 25 milliampere. So it is less than 25 milliampere. That's why we can conclude that SCR doesn't fire. SCR do not conduct. Okay, the conclusion here is, the answer for this question is SCR won't conduct because latching current value is given as 25 milliampere, but the current flowing through the SCR is 15.3 milliampere. That's why it won't conduct. We'll see another problem. Yes, we'll see the second problem. See the problem. The latching current of a thyristor circuit as shown in figure. This is the diagram circuit, and the latching current value is 2 milliampere is given, and they are asking that what is the value of minimum width of the gate pass that is required to turn on the thyristor. So this is T we are going to find out with the help of inductor voltage. We know that V is equal to L di by dt. This is the inductor voltage equation. It's very familiar to us. From this equation, we are going to get the value for T. For that, I'm just doing some simplifications. I'm just bringing this dt to left side and this V to right side. Then this will become L by V into di. Okay, then I'm going to doing the integration over here. Then we are getting T is equal to L by V into I. Look at this, the values are given over here. L is given 0.2, V is given 120 volt, and I is given as 2 milliampere. Just simply substitute there. It is 0.2 upon 120 into 2. So with this we will get 3.3 microseconds. When you solve this one, when you calculate the value, we will get 3.3 microseconds. So this is the gate pulse required to SCR to comes into on state to make it on. Okay, so with this we conclude that in this video we discussed the turnaround methods of SCR and two important problems. Those two problems are very important, many times asked in the examinations. Thank you.